keeper caught it somehow.
The Cowboys OT, presented by the Texas Lottery, is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Sleep Number. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store. NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass. And by the Texas Lottery. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. It's your ticket for a chance to win big.
15 unanswered fourth-quarter points for the Pittsburgh Steelers help them remain 8-0 and undefeated on the 2020 season as they take a close run from the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. Another classic between two classic rivals in the NFL. And we're going to break it down for you here on Cowboys OT. Welcome in. I'm Kyle Youmans, everybody, alongside a trio of former Dallas Cowboys. And we've got Nate Newton, Barry Church, and Isaiah Stanback. And plenty of positives, plenty of negatives to take away from this Cowboys game heading into the bye week in Week 10. But really the first time we saw things kind of click for the Cowboys on both sides of the football, even throw special teams in there. But Isaiah, this one does hurt a little bit more.
Yeah, this one definitely hurts simply because of the fact that you're competitive with a team that you didn't think that you really can play with, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers are a really well-coached team. They're a disciplined team. They are effective, and you were in the ball game, right? You were playing with a quarterback that's your fourth-string guy, your fourth quarterback that you've played with this year, and you were being effective. So guess what? Your momentum starts to build a little bit. Your confidence starts to build. Guys start remembering who they are as players, and things are going well. And to have some penalties, some bad mental errors or some mental lapses take that opportunity away from you after you've worked so hard to compete in this ball game, it hurts.
You know, when you're trying to play a perfect game, you know it's never going to happen. But when you have your veteran-type guys throwing and doing bad moves and making bad decisions, Leighton Vander Esch late in the fourth quarter, Jalen Smith late in the fourth quarter, threw some bad moves, made some bad decisions. You cannot have that right there. And then when you're going down trying to stop them in the fourth possession, in the final possession that Pittsburgh has the ball, then we get a hands to the face by Jalen Smith. You've played too great of a game as a team. Gallimore had a great day. Your safeties and corners are having one of their best days. And all of a sudden you throw that away just off a few bad moves. 7 penalties for 70 yards. They only had 3 for 16. You're playing hard, but you have to play smart, too.
You're right about that. We got to play smart. The penalties were just too much out there for us to overcome. For me, it hurts. It hurts the most because the penalties that were made were by your leaders of the team, by your captains. I mean, it was remarkable how these penalties happened. I mean, LVE was laying on top of a guy. He takes a swipe. That's 15 yards right there. You got Jalen Smith pushing a guy after 5 yards, pass interference. That's another 15 right there. And the penalty that most people aren't really talking about is you guys remember that throwback pass to CJ. Yeah. He was down to about the 10 or maybe even the 8-yard line, but we got a block in the back that pushed it all the way back to the 30-yard line. So for a team that's, minus all their all-pros, minus their quarterback, haven't been playing great defense for the most part of this season, you can't go out there and beat yourselves. I mean, we talked about having a perfect game. We all knew they weren't going to have a perfect game, but you can't go out there and lose the game like we did today. We can't have that, and it's just the microcosm of what this season has become so far.
And we mentioned it in the pregame show, Barry, but you have to play a perfect game to beat a team like this that, at least at this point in the season, remains perfect in the Pittsburgh Steelers. They didn't get that today because of the mistakes, but we can also point to, like, the special teams. You mentioned the return at that point from Goodwin and the throw from Cedric Wilson. They also had the return from Rico Dowdle down the sideline. They blocked a point after. Let's talk about the special teams here because they were the worst unit in football a year ago. What kind of improvement did you see this week, Isaiah?
They stepped up. I mean, we've seen it all year long from Coach Fossil. He's aggressive. That's the reason why I think Coach McCarthy wanted to bring him in, right? You needed a spark from that side of the ball since it is a third of the game, and you saw it show up today. It put you in position, not only field position play, but also it gave you the energy that your team really needed to go out there and start really building confidence as this season hasn't gone the way they've wanted. This unit came out and played hard. They played well, and they executed well, and it gave them opportunity to win this ball game.
when you play against a solid team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is the things you need. You play well enough, you had enough tricks in your bag that things can happen well. Greg Zuerlein has been a godsend, man, but we still have to play smart so things like this can prosper.
We have to play smart, and I know we don't give a lot of love to the special teams.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people, look at the offense, they look at the defense. But for me, I got to give a shout out to C.J. Goodwin out here. He's been one of the special teams MVPs out here. He's one of the better gunners in the National Football League. He's showing the speed as he races down the sidelines here. He's kind of always where he needs to be special teams-wise. So for me, I mean, the special team, they did a great job today. Hopefully they can use that momentum going forward for the rest of the season. But we got to pick it up on the defensive side of the ball as far as it comes with penalties, not from your captains. That can't happen.
There's a lot of positives to look forward to, especially on the offensive side of the football. Things that kind of went your way today. We're going to hit that when we come back. Talk about Garrett Gilbert and his first career start when we continue on Cowboys OT. 24-19, the final score from AT&T Stadium. A late charge from the Pittsburgh Steelers, enough to down the Dallas Cowboys and put them at 2-7 on the 2020 campaign. It was the first career start for Garrett Gilbert at quarterback as he was in backup duty, the fourth different quarterback the Cowboys have used in 2020. But as we welcome back in Barry Church, Nate Newton, and Isaiah Stanback, guys, it was a lot of positives to go for Isaiah when it comes to Garrett Gilbert. 21 of 38, 243 yards, and he just looked more confident than any of the other backups.
Absolutely. He came in and he looked like a veteran. I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know about y'all, but he came in, he played well. He didn't lose these guys the game. So I mean, that's all you really are asking for, anybody stepping into this position, especially against this team, against this defense. I mean, these guys are relentless. The offensive line did a heck of a job giving him an opportunity to be successful today. And I think he came in and he was effective. He made some passes. Obviously, there's some passes he wished he had back. But overall, I'm pleased with how he played.
You know what, man? I want to once again, Coach Philman, you put together the offensive line. They played well. I think they only got to him twice. He played good. And I'm sitting here at the beginning of the week like, who is this Gilbert kid? Well, you know what? He has poise. He didn't hold the ball long. He took off and ran. I hate right at the half where they didn't let him just run the ball a couple of times to get a field goal. He threw that interception. I'm kind of going to get that to the coaches, the head coach and the offensive coordinator, man. But this dude, I'm going to tell you what, man, I like what I see.
Yeah, and I like that what I saw as well. I mean,
Yeah.
Gilbert was from the first snap. He just showed that confidence, that poise in the pocket. He seemed like a veteran quarterback with experience, even though he doesn't have that much. He seemed like he was experienced out there. And what I was most impressed about was his ball placement. For the most part, if it wasn't for the receivers are the only people that can catch the ball on that one. There was no other defender in the area that could affect his passes. So for me, I'm impressed with the guy. I mean, he showed he had some wheels a little bit, being able to get out of the pocket and scramble and pick up some first downs. I mean, the guy, he played an impressive game. Hopefully he can put more of that together. But for me, I was impressed this game.
And we're all saying these positive things after what is a leaky offensive line that he was playing behind. The pressure still came from the defense of Pittsburgh. They still came, and he was able to step up. Isaiah, does that help kind of round together your thought process whenever it comes to Garrett Gilbert because of the ineffectiveness from the offensive line, but still the effectiveness from number three?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that the O-line was ineffective, though. I mean, I feel like they did a good job up front, especially against these guys, right? I expected there to be, for Steelers continue to average 4.5 sacks per game. And they only got to him 2 times. And you saw the time they did get pressure, Gilbert stood strong in there. He threw the ball with confidence. And, like I said, I know there's some passes that he wished he had back, but that just comes with continuity with your receivers, right? He was waiting a lot of times for those guys to get open, like most quarterbacks that don't have that symmetry with their guys do, is just to be sure. When he did throw ill-advised passes or inaccurate passes, they were they're overthrows. They weren't underthrows, so there could be an opportunity for turnover. So, I think under the circumstances, what we would ask of somebody, this was the best that we probably could expect from any quarterback stepping in this position.
Let me tell you what, man. Connor Williams, the president, Zach Martin, Looney was a late game with the scratch. They put him in there. Biotish was out. I mean, he pulled a hamstring. I don't know how a big guy pulled a hamstring, but he pulled a hamstring, probably chasing a donut or something. But
so Hayward.
Yeah. And so they put him in there, and once again, this offensive line held. So the offensive line did a great job by my estimate, and this kid played well. So, and the receivers made plays for him. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And to me, the most impressive part of his game out there was even when he was under duress a little bit, even when the Steelers did get a little bit of pressure on him, he was able to work that pocket magically. I mean, he was able to escape sometimes, kind of dip his shoulder, get around the rush, and look. Yeah, he dipped it a little bit. And what would impress me, he was always looking downfield. He wasn't looking like, oh, I got to get up out of here quick. He was looking downfield to make the play, and he was able to find CeeDee Lamb on a couple of deep shots. And look, I was impressed overall from this guy.
It's going to create a little bit of controversy maybe moving forward. Is Andy Dalton the quarterback? We'll have to talk about that coming up here in a little bit. But when we come back, the Cowboys defense holding under 50 yards rushing for the Steelers offense. We'll talk about their success next. Just getting started here on Cowboys OT following a 24-19 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cowboys now 2-7 on the 2020 campaign. There were some bright spots on that defensive line today. Neville Gallimore, Demarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory all playing very well today. And guys, as we continue to break down this game, you look at the defense. It started up front for the Cowboys, even against a pretty good offensive line, Isaiah.
Yeah, I mean, these boys were coming. I mean, I know Nate already alluded to it. You know, especially when we were back here watching the studio, Gallimore was playing. Oh, yeah. The boy brought the juice, all right? And the boy was playing physical. He was playing low. You could see him manhandling sometimes. He was manhandling Pouncey, which is crazy because Pouncey is probably one of the best centers ever played a game, right? And he was just literally just manhandling him. And not only that, his energy carried over to everybody else, right? It was almost like he was the leader, right? And then you saw Lawrence. D-Law responding. Then you saw, Gregory responding, right? And then it even went up to the second level. Sometimes we saw Sean Lee in there. Sometimes we saw, Jalen in there. It just kept going all the way to the secondary. So I mean, I was very impressed with this guy. The whole defense as a whole. They play with a lot more energy. It's something that we talked about last week and they carried over to this week.
When you see a guy like a young Neville, man, they just turn him loose. Like we started in pregame. I'm like, stop. Just two-gapping. Stop standing there reading. Get upfield. He got upfield a couple of times. He's had two back-to-back losses. Big play right there. That allows your linebackers, man, to come downhill and to make plays, man. When you get a young guy like that, 300-plus pounds coming downhill, making plays, all of a sudden you get D-Law rolling, man. Our defensive line is coming. They're active now. They're moving. They're shooting in there. You see right now where Leighton Vander Esch come in and help make that play. When your linebackers can come downhill because your defensive line is smashing people, this is what we need.
Yeah, you're right. This is exactly what we need. And Isaiah, you're right as well. This guy brought the juice. He brought a whole container of the juice.
Yes.
For this guy to be so young, he just seemed to be that spark plug, that leader, like you mentioned, for the whole D-line. He got D-Law going. He got Randy Gregory going. He had this whole secondary going. Defense as a whole. I mean, they were flying around to the ball today. And it all started with Neville Gallimore in the middle. I think it started with that fourth and inches stop that he was in on.
Yes, sir.
But I will say this about the secondary, man. We've got to take advantage of these interceptions. I saw two dropped interceptions today. One by Xavier Woods, right in his mittens, and then we saw two where I think it was Diggs and Donovan Wilson kind of collided. They should have had the interception. With the defense we're playing with now, we cannot afford to miss out on mistakes like that. We got to take advantage of them. That's how we beat the big teams. We got to get it done, fellas.
Well, and we alluded to it earlier. The frustration in this loss comes from the fact that your young guys played extremely well. We talk about even rookies, CeeDee Lamb, Neville Gallimore, Trayvon Diggs. Of course, Diggs a little banged up in the second half, but they all played very well today. But the mistakes came from the defensive side of the football from some of your go-to guys over the last couple years, which is Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch. Isaiah, what did you think about some of the mistakes that they made and how it really cost them down the stretch?
Can't have it. Absolutely can't have it. I mean, that's pretty much, I can end the sentence right there. It's something that you can't allow to take place on your team. You can't allow it from anybody, but you especially can't allow it to happen from your leaders in these moments, right? If you're going to make these mistakes, you make these mistakes early in the game so you can recover from. You don't make them in prime time. And then at the end of the game where the game's on the line against the number one team in the league right now. It's not something that you can do. It's not something that you can allow for. To play with Jalen Smith, hands to the face, it's something that happens. It's a ticky-tack, but guess what? The rules are the rules. The pass interference on Jalen Smith, you know the rules, bro. Like, get your hands off the dude after 5 yards, move your feet. And then you talk about Vander Esch. Out of all those penalties, Vander Esch, you cannot let your emotions control you. Your emotions killed your teammates today.
First and second down, yes. Third down, you got a chance to get off the field. You were up by 1 point. You were up by 1 point. Now you're down by 2 points. You're up, and you don't score in the fourth quarter. Now you're down by 7 points, and 5 points. You need a touchdown, and all of a sudden you get hands to the face. All of a sudden, game over. We asking Gilbert to work a miracle, and this guy's barely thrown 25 professional passes. That's asking too much from your team. Once y'all clean up those things like that, you'll be a better team, and you'll be fighting better from a better position.
Yeah, and Isaiah, you're completely right on this one. I mean, those two Jalen Smith things, those are ticky-tacky. Things like that will happen. But with LVE right there, you know the situation. You're a leader. You cannot let those emotions boil over and cost your team a huge penalty. That was third down right there. They could have got off the field. This offense could have milked the clock, and we'd probably be talking about a totally different game right now. But what LVE did right there, taking a swipe at the guy, I know he kind of had his face mask up there, but you can't let your emotions get the better of you. You got to play smart football, and that's how you beat the big teams. That's how you beat the undefeateds in the number one ranked teams. You go out there and you play smart, and that's just something we didn't do defensively.
Emotions played a huge role in this game today, and we heard even a little emotion from Mike McCarthy on the sideline as well. We hear what he had to say in his post-game press conference when we return here on Cowboys OT. Mike McCarthy now 0-4 in the regular season versus his childhood team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's 2-7 with the Cowboys. Here's what he had to say in his post-game press conference.
Mike, how do you assess Gilbert's performance today as far as being able to run what you wanted to offensively and keeping you in this game and giving you a chance to win it?
I thought Garrett kept us in good place. I mean, there's a lot that was going on with, at the line of scrimmage. He was prepared. You can see it during the course of the week. He was getting more and more comfortable as he had the opportunity to exercise the game plan. So I thought he definitely brought it from the practice field to the game today. So, really, the only negative in the performance was the two turnovers.
On the interception, Mike, is that a matter of just when you're in the tight red zone, the ball has to come out, no matter how quick you think you're looking at things?
I think that's a general opinion. I would point more towards the play design. What's the defense playing to be more specific? But yeah, I think we all understand it. The red zone is there's less space. Things happen quicker down there. There's a different type of pass rush. It looked like we had pressure inside that if I remember correctly, I think he was getting ready to throw the football away. So obviously took points off the board there for us.
Mike, obviously not a win, but do you still feel like a game like this can somewhat validate what you as the coaching staffs are doing here in terms of the first year, the improvement over recent weeks, and certainly today the improvement that was shown?
That's really not for me to answer. I just focus on what we do every day, and it's just today's a reflection of what we're capable of doing. Just as I spoke to the football team, we need to continue to focus on the things that we can control, the plays that we can control. We clearly understand it comes down to, only so many plays each and every week determine whether you win or not. So, and that's what we'll continue to do. So I think the understanding of what we're, how we're playing and how we want things done, you can see it building throughout the preparation phase. You can see it building on the practice field. And I think we're definitely taking the steps in the right direction the last 2 weeks. As far as the understanding, the speed, we're trying to get things done. So we have a bye week. We'll spend time in the self scout of it all, both individually for the players and obviously all three phases. And we'll get loaded up because it's time. And we got to get going. Obviously, we're running out of. Everybody knows what our record is. So. We need to get going. We need to start stacking wins.
Mike, as well as the defense play, do you feel that there were some key penalties there late in the game defensively that really hurt this team?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can write on it as much as you want. Go for it. I'm not going I said to the football team, we need to focus on the things we can do better. What was called, what wasn't called. We don't have control of that. So, and I think our players do a really good job of that. So you want them playing with a lot of energy. Obviously, it's a physical football team that we played today. We expected a knockdown, drag-out type game. That's what we prepared for. So at the end of it, when you're on the edge there, and guys are getting after it, you just we gotta be disciplined through those spots. So I'm saying that without seeing the actual tape and have a chance to review it, but. It's we had some tough calls. And the timing of it was a real challenge.
Mike McCarthy at the podium at AT&T Stadium, still focused on the task at hand. However, you look at it last week against Philadelphia, we saw a little bit of a turn of the corner. We saw some more of that this week, but Isaiah, you'd still like to see it in a win.
Yeah, you definitely want to get the W from it. But the good news is these guys are playing a lot more collective defense, right? They're seeming to play a lot with an understanding of of what Mike Nolan's trying to get accomplished. And it's just kind of funny how it didn't happen until you got rid of some of those veterans on the defensive line. Mm-hmm. And it seemed as soon as that happened, these young guys were able to flourish, right? They were able to blossom. It's almost like you had a cloud over them, and all of a sudden you remove that cloud. Now they can shine. So these guys are playing hard. They're playing well. You heard coaches mention right there. If you just get rid of some of these penalties, regardless if you think it was on the referees or and being ticky-tack or whatever. You just can't do it. You play sound defense, but they are playing better.
You lineman assignment. You lined up good today. You completed your assignment. Just got to be a little bit more disciplined in how you do it. We see Gregory. We see Naval Gallimore. We see guys like that coming up playing, getting guys fired up. We just got to control our emotions, and we'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely be okay going forward. I feel like if we can keep this momentum going, especially on the defensive side of the ball, minus those mistakes that we made as far as penalties going, I felt like these guys, these last 2 weeks, they've been flying around the ball, especially on the defensive side of the ball, or defensive line, rather, I should say. I feel like D-Law last week, Neville Gallimore this week, these guys are starting to show up. And you're right, with those veterans kind of gone out the way, Don Terry Poe, Everson Griffin and those boys, these young guys, the Neville Gallimores of the world, they've been able to step up and they've been able to do what they can to help this defense go on. We just got to become more disciplined as a defense if we want to eke out these tough these tough games in the NFL. And
we're going to flip sides of the football here on Cowboys OT. When we come back, Garrett Gilbert brought it on his game this week in his first career NFL start. We hear from him at AT&T Stadium when we return. 243 yards in his first career NFL touchdown for Garrett Gilbert. Though the Cowboys do fall short against Pittsburgh 24-19. Let's hear from the quarterback after the game.
Garrett, how did you feel offensively about your ability to execute the offense today and keep this team in a position to win it at the end?
I thought we did a nice job all day. They presented some stuff up front that was a little different than some stuff we had seen. They did a really nice job changing looks up, and I was really proud of our guys, especially up front, the way they communicated and got us out of some bad plays and into some better plays. And I thought we did a nice job preventing a lot of negative plays tonight, and that's a testament to the guys up front doing a really good job communicating and staying with me at the line of scrimmage.
Garrett, what was it like to go on the field there for that last drive? And when was the last time you were in a situation like that with a chance to win the game?
Obviously, it's been a while. But that's what you live for as a quarterback. That's what you live for as a football player. And unfortunately, those last two drives, I just couldn't make enough plays for us to finish that one off. But that's the type of thing that you dream about, and that's the type of situation that you live for as a quarterback.
Garrett, I was watching you after that final throw as the game ended, and you kind of just stood there. You had your hands on your hips, took off your helmet, and kind of just watching it all, processing it in front of you. What was going on in your mind as that game ended?
I mean, losing sucks. I felt like. I felt like our guys played really hard today and played really well, and we deserved a chance to win that game. And obviously we gave ourselves that chance, but it's just tough when you when all of us together put everything into that thing and then come up short.
Can you describe what the last play was designed to do, and how did you see it unfold?
Yeah, we're pushing everyone vertical, and then had CD coming across the front line of the end zone, and there was a chance for it. Moved up in the pocket a little bit, and I just missed him a little too far inside. I think he had a shot at maybe making a catch there. I got to, give him a better ball.
You can sense a little bit of the frustration, but also a little bit of confidence from Garrett Gilbert in his post-game presser as we welcome back in Barry Church, Nate Newton, and Isaiah Stanback. And guys, when you look at Garrett Gilbert, the question's going to be asked, is he the quarterback moving forward, even though Andy Dalton might be ready after the bye week, Isaiah?
Ooh, that's a tough question, Kyle. My instinct says to go ahead and go with him simply because he was able to establish some momentum. Right, I feel as if this team is going to be confident with him going forward. As much as a veteran as Andy Dalton is, as accomplished as he is, you look at it's a tale of two sides, right? When Andy Dalton came in the game a couple weeks back, the team did not respond to him, even under the circumstances. Now you have Gilbert coming in, and look how the team responded. Look how efficient they were. Look how they moved the ball. Look at the energy. So I think that you have to stay with the Gilbert train going forward.
I'm a big Andy Dalton fan, but this guy came in fresh off the street, 2 weeks off of the COVID list, getting acclimated to what's got to go on. You have some momentum here. I'm with you, Isaiah. Let's roll with this kid, man. We can fall back on Andy Dalton, but this kid here gave us an opportunity to win.
Look, I know it's not Friday, but I'm going to say it with my chest anyway.
Okay.
You got to stick with Garrett Gilbert right here. I mean, just look at the eye test out there and what he saw. You hit it right on the nail, man. You said it when he went out there, his confidence just spewed throughout the rest of the team, and it just elevated their game as well. And he made this team look a lot better than we've seen in previous weeks. Now, I know in Washington, the conditions weren't great for Andy Dalton out there, but in this game, Gilbert, he went out there with that same offensive line, and he was able to move the pocket and pretty much do damage down the field, and that's something that we've been missing from this Cowboys offense. So if it's up to me, I'm saying we got to go with Gilbert on this one.
21 of 38, 243 yards. His first touchdown, like I mentioned, but he also had an interception in the end zone. So there's going to be a question moving forward for the Cowboys at quarterback. It continues with the theme of 2020. When we come back, we hear from Demarcus Lawrence following the 24-19 loss. Continuing on here with Cowboys OT, and though they didn't end up with a sack defensively, the Cowboys defensive line did put some pressure on Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh offense in the loss. Let's go back out to AT&T Stadium and hear from Demarcus Lawrence.
Hey, Demarcus, how you doing?
What's up?
Demarcus, not a win, of course, but when you guys go toe-to-toe with the only undefeated team in the NFL, do you feel like this is an indication that you guys are moving in the right direction with the new coaching staff? Things are pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a job by our guys tonight, fighting for 4 quarters straight. Hell of a job by our coaching staff, believing in us, staying with us, and putting us in the right positions to make plays. And, I mean, it's a tough loss, but I do feel like we raised the bar and we are getting better.
Demarcus, how surprised are you when you look at this season where you are in the standings up in last place?
I mean, it's very surprising, but, if you look at all these games, it's coming down to the wire, or, it's small mistakes that we need to clean up at the end of the game. So I don't feel like nobody in this league is elite. You look at the schedule or their record, and they record might say different, but clearly, by looking at the game tonight, ain't nobody elite, and everybody has a chance to win, and we just got to do a better job in the fourth quarter holding it together.
Demarcus, did it feel like something clicked tonight, or what was the big difference that, lets you guys be able to hold the Pittsburgh Steelers in check for so long?
Just playing fundamental football, playing all as one, being able to, come out with that confidence, especially after, last game. Just keep building on top of each other, and understand, like I said earlier, that it ain't nobody elite, and we have a chance every week to come out with the victory, and we just didn't do it tonight.
One of the biggest knocks on this Cowboys team through the first half of the season was the lack of energy surrounding the defense. Well, the energy's picked up over the last 2 weeks, even though it's still been losses, Isaiah. It's still something you can build on moving forward, and D-Law is a big part of that.
Yeah, D-Law's a big part of that. I think he was we mentioned it earlier, Gallimore and committee did a great job bringing the energy and bringing the effectiveness, right? Everybody brought the juice today, as I mentioned earlier. And I think it's a testament to Nolan, Mike Nolan and his defense, and how these guys are really just trusting him, right? At this point, it takes a lot for a coach to come in, try to put his foot down and say, this is the direction that we're going in. But it's another thing for the players to actually hop on board, right? So they got to hop on that ship, and I think you're seeing that start to happen, right? We talked about the bad eggs or whatever, the guys who didn't work, they're out the way. Now you just make room for guys on the seat, right? They have room to sit down now on the ship, and now it's like, get on board and let's play ball. We're going to look forward to see who else decides to make the decision to start playing well as well with this team also.
When you see these guys, man, you have to give them time. And now they have had time to see the players, what they can do and what they can't do within this system. Now they're starting to apply themselves. And once you have a little success as a player, you start believing in the system, and you start learning it a little bit better, and you start playing within that system a little bit better. And we're starting to see that with the young guys. And now D-Law can be D-Law because he is that alpha male in the room now. There's no one else.
Oh, yeah, you're right about it. And as a whole, this defense, all three levels of it, they stepped up. They stepped up great, I feel like. And outside of Neville Gallimore, I was extremely impressed with the hustle we saw out there from this defense. Usually we're getting on these guys about loafing around and being lazy and expecting someone else to make the play. But today, I didn't see that at all. I saw the defensive line hustling downfield to make plays. I saw the secondary flying around out there just trying to do what they can to help their team. And that's what we're going to need moving forward. If we want to build that momentum, if we want to be that team that we expected us to be at the start of this season, we're going to have to use that hustling and that momentum to go forward, and hopefully they do.
When you look at the expectancy of running the football from any opponent against the Dallas Cowboys, they've averaged over 170 yards per game on the ground allowed. They were only allowing 46 tonight against Pittsburgh. So you look at the improvement on the run defense as well, and I think that's something that you can build on moving forward. Now, there were plenty of mistakes on the defensive side of the football, especially late. We hear from Jalen Smith and maybe some of the explanations on those when we return on Cowboys OT. A couple key plays late force a loss for the Dallas Cowboys, 24-19, 15 unanswered points for the Steelers in the fourth quarter. Let's go back out to Arlington and hear from Jalen Smith following the game.
Jalen, how tough of a loss was this one, knowing that you guys pretty much dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers throughout the course of the game and then just came up short at the end?
Tough loss. Things going our way. For us, it's about battling. It's about finding a way. So we're on the right track, and we just got to keep digging, like Tank just said. We just got to keep digging.
Jalen, did they give you any kind of explanation on the flag they threw on the strip sack? Did they give you any kind of explanation of what you did wrong there or what they thought they saw?
No, they thought that I hit him and I, was just crazy over the top holding. Really, he just ran into me, and that's really what it was. Few questionable calls in the game, but for us, we got to control what we can control.
I mean, you're fighting to get through the blockers there, so how surprised were you to get that call because you're just trying to get through, mess there in front of the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really, just questionable calls. I really didn't do anything. I was just trying to pressure the quarterback and press the pocket, put my hands up when the ball was coming out, and that's what it was. Questionable calls, like you said, but we just got to keep fighting.
Jalen, how surprised that you guys are in this situation? I mean, you lost Dak, obviously, but you still got some key guys, and now you guys are in last place in the division.
For us, it's just about continuing to grind. We're headed in the right direction. You tough loss, like we said, but there's a lot of things that we can build off of and momentum. And for us, we feel like we're never out of the fight, so we just got to keep digging.
You got anything else, guys?
Your thoughts on how you guys handled Ben and his group in the first couple of quarters of that game, because that was the best you guys have looked in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just about learning from our mistakes, understanding what we're doing well, and just continue to build off of it. That's really what it's about. Got a long season left. We're gonna I take advantage of this bye week to get our bodies right and get our minds and spirits right, and come back for the second half of the season. We'll be ready.
Does Garrett Gilbert, in your opinion? Go ahead.
What you say?
Does Garrett Gilbert, in your opinion, give you the best chance to win at the quarterback position?
For us, we're fighting with all those guys. We're fighting. It's going to take every man for us to get victories, and you're just happy to be a part of America's team.
In Jalen Smith's own words, he says a couple questionable calls costing them the game late. Yes, there were key moments, but there's a lot to unpack there, guys, whenever it comes to what Jalen just had to say. Isaiah, what did you think?
First of all, he needs to take the hood off your head and answer the questions like a man. Represent your team, represent yourself. Second of all, take some accountability, bro. Take some accountability. You sound like you're speaking French when you're saying oui, right? It was I. You hit somebody in the face, right? Regardless if it was soft or ticky-tack, the rules are the rules. You hit him in the face. That is called roughing the passer. Then you had pass interference. He didn't run into you. You hit the man after 5 yards and held on to him. So take accountability and don't try to blame it on other people. Do what you're supposed to do. Like you just told everybody, learn from your mistakes, get better next time, and come back better than you were this week. But don't pass it off as, oh, it was somebody else.
You can talk till you blue in the face or deeper black than I am. But, Jalen, let's just play better, my friend. All right.
Yeah, I mean, overall, as a defense, they played better as a whole as a defense, but the mistakes he made out there, they were extremely costly for this team. They kept drives alive against a team that you should have had, dead to rights. But the mistakes that were made by him and his linebacking core definitely cost us the game this one. And you would like to see, like to the point you made, Isaiah, you would like to see your leaders of the team, your captains of the team, pretty much take accountability over that. It was your penalties out there. It was no one else. It was a single penalty, and it was on you. And you would like to see him take accountability instead of kind of pushing it off as a whole team thing. So for me, you just got to have more discipline as a whole unit, and hopefully they can build upon this momentum going forward. But you got to take accountability as a leader.
It's a little frustrating from a teammate perspective. You guys all three played in the league, but how frustrating is it to hear not only the accountability or the non-accountability at that point, but also the fact that just a couple mistakes is what ultimately led to a loss, Isaiah?
Well, I have no patience when it comes to accountability, because that's just being soft. Right? Don't push it off as if you didn't do it. Everybody has to start with themselves. Every single one of us sitting up here have always had to watch game film and say, guess what? That's me. That's my fault. I'm sorry I did that. It won't happen again. So that's number one. In terms of how this defense played, the defense played well, but again, these mistakes hurt your team. They hurt your team. And when you know that something that you did hurt your team, the last thing that your teammates want to hear is, oh, well, yeah, it was the calls. Nobody wants to hear that, bro. You're a professional. You're getting paid a lot of money to take accountability and to make the corrections and go out there and play some doggone ball.
One play, now you was up by 1 point, now you down by 2 points. Next play cost you a touchdown. So these two guys have explained it well, and I don't want to beat you up, young man, but if you're going to be a leader and you're going to say that I'm a leader of this team as D-Law does, you have to take and put this team on your back sometime.
Yeah, this one was tough. As a teammate, I would have been pretty salty right now, just because you fought, you scratched, and you clawed when everybody thought you had no business belonging in this game against the Steelers, and you fought and you scratched and you clawed all the way down to the last possession, and to beat yourself on pretty much 3 penalties, it sucks. And as a teammate, I'd be extremely frustrated, but I get, it's a part of the game, and as a whole, this team just has to take accountability and move forward.
It was extremely emotional. It was very hard fought, and we're going to wrap things up here on Cowboys OT and continue looking at this 24-19 loss to the Steelers when we return.
The Cowboys OT, presented by the Texas Lottery, was brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Wendy's new pretzel bacon puff cheeseburger at participating Wendy's for a limited time only. NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass. And by the Texas Lottery. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. It's your ticket for a chance to win big.
24-19, the final score from AT&T Stadium. The Cowboys hold a 10-point lead heading into the fourth quarter. They also hold the Steelers to just 46 yards rushing, but they fall to 2-7 on the season and fall to a perfect 8-0 Pittsburgh Steelers squad here in Week 9. Now heading into Week 10 and the bye week here in the 2020 campaign. The Cowboys will next be in action against Minnesota in Week 11. Kyle Youmans with you alongside Barry Church, Nate Newton, and Isaiah Stanback. And guys, like we've mentioned throughout the show, lots of things to build on for the Cowboys heading into the bye week. But where do you start, Isaiah?
I think you want to continue this momentum. I think the team has momentum, and nobody wants to hear that coming off of today's loss. But the fact of the matter is you played a really good team. You played the best of your ability, and, you lost. But the reality was you were never supposed. Nobody ever gave you a fighting chance. Nobody outside of that locker room gave you a fighting chance. That team is going to be probably in the conversation for going to the Super Bowl. And hopefully you can work your way there as well. But you want to continue this momentum. You want to continue this confidence. The defense is playing well. You have somebody at the quarterback position now that guys believe in. They have to find a way to improve this running game some way, somehow, because you're not going to win games without getting Zeke going, without getting Pollard going. You saw a little bit of it today, but that's something that they have to get corrected, and I think that they need to find a way to solidify this offensive line and get this continuity going.
I tell you what, just take a deep breath. Look at yourself individually and as a team and how you fit in the scheme. The coaches are starting to figure out who you are and what you can do and can't do. Now, what you got to do as a player is say, okay, what can I do to help my team within the team concept to be better? This is a good week right here, man, because Delvin Cook of the Minnesota Vikings is coming.
You said it, man. You said it right there. They need to build up on this momentum, especially on the defensive line. We saw these last 2 weeks, D-Law, Neville Gallimore, Tyron Crawford, and the crew. They've stepped their game up, and they've been playing well these past 2 weeks, holding this Pittsburgh Steelers team to 46 yards rushing. But like you said, they got a grown you-know-what man coming in here next week in Dalvin Cook. So we have to step up our game because, look, you could put 10 guys in the box against that guy, and he still might run you over. So for me, they got a great back coming in here, but we got to build upon this momentum, especially in the front seven, to see if we can get into those playoffs, to see if we can get into this NFC East hunt, because we know this NFC is not very good. We got a chance. Yeah. So overall, we just got to keep this momentum going. Hopefully we do.
No team has ever started 2-7 and ended up making the playoffs. But, guys, whenever you look at this game overall, it is a positive building. You look at the defensive line and how much they've improved. You look at Garrett Gilbert and everything involved there. There is a ton of things to involve. And really, overall, I think the Cowboys do have a chance to build on that heading into the bye week and then ultimately going up against Minnesota as well. That's going to do it here for us on Cowboys OT. I want to thank our entire DallasCowboys.com crew. For Nate Newton, Barry Church, and Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Youmans. We'll see you in a couple weeks on Cowboys OT.